So, as an add-on to the Fart Blossom video that I just blessed you with, I'm going to throw on a little reloading just because I'm going to kind of combine some of the stuff that I've learned back when I was doing the fart and show you why I believe I have all the capacity I could possibly need with this thing. There's two things niggling at the back of my head. Number one is to find out if I can get enough capacity to shoot these 1002 grainers. Well, I should lay out an unmarked one. These are all ones I've been using to test seeding depth. I guess I took them out because I'm going to shoot them tomorrow. I'm going to shoot them tomorrow when the Labradar is working, and if that doesn't work, then I'm going to have to go set up a chronograph in the rain. Obviously the black on here is because I use that to check for engagement into the lands. And for seeding depths, some of these you'll notice that I mark with a seeding depth. This is your friend, by the way. And it's a real pain to do the 338 Lapua because when it's blown out, it doesn't even go into this tool. And this is the biggest tool. I have opened this one up to where I can get it in there. Oh, there we go. But I had to do that to get this even to go in. And it's right there, trust me. It's not got anything left. I don't like to show that opening this up was kind of a labor of love. I just reached in there and burned on it with sandpaper. But that's neither here nor there. This is the fart case. This is, in my world, a bit of a known quantity. I've played with this guy enough. I have never fired these, but I know that it has enough capacity to run all the other bullets that I had clear up to 2,000 feet per second. Basically, this is why I wanted to show you. When I left off the last video, I made a comment that I don't know if this Fart Blossom is going to have enough, but I think it is going to have enough capacity. Well, let me show you why. I think it's going to have plenty of capacity because I throated it long. The fart was never throated long. I will have to re-throat it probably out far enough to get these to go into the fart at one point if these turn out to be a smashing success. It's a big freaking bullet. I've been shooting that kind of bullets and that kind of bullets. 750 grains still does a lot of damage at 1,050. But bump that up to 1,000 and all of a sudden you gain 30% more facility. So this is all new since I did the fart. This bullet, this whole 1,000 grain thing is all new. But just to give you an idea, these are Fart Blossom cases. The little short, I call it the 404 Jeffrey, let's call it the 300 RUM, the rum case. They don't have as much capacity, but I don't think it's going to be enough to screw us up. And here I'll show you why. 750 grains on the fart. The clay, well, I didn't ever actually use clays. So let's say the 800X. I've got a case, a drawing marked up. 800X fills it to about here. And then I went to H322. I tried about 11 powders, but I settled it down into roughly equal increments. Bottom line is, 750 grainer goes down to the shoulder on this gun because I put very little freebore in it. So I have this much case to work with. And basically, on my workup that I wrote down in my notes, I just drew a picture and I said, okay, 800X is about here. 322, H322 is about here. Varget, what did I go to? 4831, I think. And then I jumped clear up to, I believe, Ritumbo. Ritumbo is not crushed, but it's a full case with the 750 seated to it right there. Ritumbo, but and I also did H1000. They all fit and they all made 1050. So this case, set up like this, can use anything from, I didn't try any pistol powders in it, but shotgun powders up to Ritumbo. Somewhere about in the middle is where the Varget 4350-ish type stuff lands. H322 is down here. The 800X is down here near the bottom. Now, when I started with this case, because this is the way I set them up. There's no shoulder yet, there's no anything. All I did was cleaned up this section here. I knocked about 2/1000 off of it. And the case is still tapered. The outside taper overcomes the inside taper such that there's only 1/1000 to taper inside from here to here, even though there's 3-some thousandths here. And of the two cases, Hornady and, which one is this? Oh, Nosler, I'm sorry, not Hornady. Nosler and Remington, there's a slightly different internal taper, but it came out all right. And right now, when I go out to fire form with these, the 800X comes up to about here. I've still got a lot of room. Now, after this is fired, these ones have been fired many, many, many times. You can start to see the bulges. The back is not hammered out to the nice, tight, and I don't know if it's ever going to because these are low pressure loads. I believe the loads I was shooting was pushing this bullet up to around 11-1200. But I could be wrong. Now that this case is blown up to size, it's not that much different than the fart case. It is slimmer. It would almost fit inside the, well, it wouldn't fit in, but it's a wee bit longer. So in the same way that the big blown out 338 McCallum on the, well, let's just back off. In the same way that the 300 RUM case or the 338 RUM case is skinnier than the 338 Lapua, it's also a little longer. Consequently, Sean Carlock, when he designed the Edge, was able to get near velocities. A 338 RUM gets near velocities to the 338 Lapua. Now the Lapua's got more meat back here. It's got a thicker case head. It's got a few things that allow it to run a little higher pressure. But capacity-wise, you can get these 404 Jeffrey cases off. So I'm running into the same thing now. I see no reason whatsoever in scaling these side by side that I won't have plenty of room in here. And now here's where the real difference begins. Not only that, I've already got these things. I've already throated this thing out to that far. This bullet is sitting right here. And the other ones fit, but they're only fitting right in here. So I believe this is going to have a ton more case capacity. I might be able to short throat it. I might be able to cut the threads back, bring it back. It's going to be a lot of work. I might have, but what I did was I got the throat long enough that the shortest bullets that I've got, which are not even shown here, they're the 700, some of the 750 grain lathe turn solids, basically sit inside the neck only about that far. Because I've got big free bore on this bullet. But it fits all the bullets that I'm using, and this little lightest bullet that I've got fits just fine because, I hope this isn't a loaded one. Ooh, might be. It's got such a blunt ogive that it seats into the lands is about right there at the cantilever groove. So this right here, the only bullet that I fired for effect, these are groping into, let's call it 1.5 inches to be perfectly safe, so I don't look too stupid down the road when I have trouble getting this thing down under 1 inch. But these are pulled by the bag by Capital Cartridge. They're under $1 in the bulk that I bought them. And now I can go out and shoot 50, 80 rounds working this all the way up through different powders and what. So bottom line is, this is kind of an addendum to show you that, again, I set this so that it's a crush fit, whether that's necessary or not. When I put these in the gun to fire form, it hits on that shoulder right there, and then when it blows out, it forms another shoulder right here. Now, I may play with my neck turn. I neck turn down past. This is me. This is the way I whip stuff out, and you can clearly see that there's a little ripple inside the case. There are things I could set my neck turn so that it not right on. This is all stuff I had to find out by shooting it. I could have measured and wasted a lot more time, but I wanted to shoot. So now I have cases that I can use here, and the headspace on them is scrupulous. And weirdly enough, the headspace on the ones that I fired short held pretty good. One of them seems to be a little looser than the other, the one that had less neck. But bottom line is, this is an easy way to make a subsonic elk cartridge, I keep calling it that, a Subsonic 50. All the other subsonics in the world are kind of silly, except the 45 ACP, and that'll lodge a bullet in a man and put him down really hard, but that's not my deal. To have a hunting round, to have this gun right now, you can carry through the woods like a 30-30. If you're immune to recoil, or if it doesn't bother you too much, you could probably drop it down into the 12-pound gun range. No, I wouldn't go down into a under 10-pound gun like I did the first time. But regardless, for a few extra pounds, you can carry something around that will go through an engine block. I mean, these are unstoppable. I call it a elk hunting round because I wanted to be able to shoot an elk at 600 yards. It brings the same energy to 600 yards as a 300 Win Mag, which is getting marginal, admittedly. But it's like a 300 Win Mag with a 50 caliber entrance hole. And these don't deviate, they're not going to turn and tumble, so they're just going to punch a hole, a 50 caliber hole, through the animal. But you can walk around in the woods up close, and of course you can launch them at 2,000 if you think you can handle the recoil. But as subsonic, I could picture myself walking around in the deer woods or the bear woods or the hog woods or the elk woods with something like this and be effective to 600 yards if necessary. So, I've got to get this phone, I've got to let yous go, but this is an addendum to the last one. I'm so excited. I've shot. My bullets are printing. I only have to move my groups about this far. And it's awesome. Everything's working. Everything. I didn't miss a lick on this sucker. And that, in my world, means maybe this whole video is just me bragging. Because I'm so excited that my stupid off-the-wall idea worked out on all of 5 salient points. And that makes me very, very happy. So, sharing that with you because I'm still kind of floating both feet off the ground here a little bit. And excited to shoot tomorrow and test this boy out and find out. I know roughly what velocity I'm shooting. When I left off the last video and I said, I hope we're going to make velocity. Yes, we're going to make velocity. And I am 99% sure that we'll be able to make velocity all the way up to the 1,000 grainers because the true case capacity of the fart and the fart blossom are not that far off. And I still had room in the fart. And I've never throated this bad boy out, so I still have way more room in the fart if I float it out. Well, throat it out so the bullet goes... I don't know why I said floated out. Anyway, guess I'm speaking a little too excitedly here. So I'm going to let you go. I'm going to wrap up my evening. And hopefully tomorrow we'll maybe even have some groups. I don't know. We'll see.